Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Well, there's more countries recognizing the new republics in East Ukraine, and obviously uh, those countries are allied with Russia, and that is Syria. And I don't have to get into why Syria would recognize, for instance, Donbass because Mr. Assad would be forever grateful to Putin and the people of Russia for helping the area, saving the area from another Iraq or Afghanistan or Libya, if you know what I mean. And we should probably say the same thing and thank them. But nevertheless, let's go here. Um, let's see what's going on. This article comes from the New Voice of Ukraine from June 29th, 2022. And this is the title. Syria recognizes independence of sham republics in Ukraine's Donbass. Obviously, this is an Ukrainian outlet, media outlet, so they will use certain terms to refer to Russia, Donbass, Luhansk, all that. Syria has officially recognized the independence of the so-called DPR and LPR sham republics set up by the Kremlin in Donbass in 2014, news agency Reuters reported on June 29th. Well, they were not set up by the Kremlin. It was because you guys did what you did in 2014, overthrowing the government of Ukraine, elected government, democratically elected, and then starting all those bans on Russian language and then sending tanks towards those regions. They said, you know what, we don't recognize the Kiev guys who just overthrew the elected government, which is, I don't know, you tell me if it's fair or not. I mean, those guys overthrow the government, elected, legitimate, and then this guy says, you know what? I'm not saying Russia was not. Probably it was, or more certainly, but I don't know. So then it did this, and then you have this Donbass and Luhansk saying, you know what? We want some autonomy. Those guys, the Kiev sent tanks to deal with the Ukrainians in East Ukraine. And then the guys defended themselves, plus probably with some Russian support. Russia says, we didn't send military personnel over there. We just help them here and there. Okay, whatever. I don't have any evidence, neither these guys, to show that the Russians were over there. There were all kind of media outlets saying, oh, there's Russians over there, there's Russians over there, but none of them produced anything, as far as I'm concerned. Maybe they did, and I missed them, possible, but based on my information, I haven't seen any. So nevertheless, even if there were, okay, they helped. They helped their Russians from being slaughtered by the Ukrainians. Do you want me to remind you the Mexican-American War? Texas? No? American blood was spilled on the Rio Grande, blah, 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 blah. Remember that? Remember how Texas became independent? And who helped them to become independent? And then beat the Mexicans and took, like, nowadays, what, 5 states, or how many they got over there from Mexico? They paid for it. Yeah, okay. They paid, but you know what I mean? I'm going to offer you this. You take the offer? Yes. Okay, I thought so. All right, so we have here the regime of Syrian dictator Bashar al-Assad reaffirmed in February its intention to develop relations with the LPR and DPR sham republics. Russian dictator Vladimir Putin on February 21st officially recognized the independence of the sham republics. The State Duma of the Russian Federation, the Kremlin's rubber stamp rubber stamp parliament, sent an appeal to Putin on the recognized of the sham republics on February 15. So the Duma is the parliament. So that's chosen by the people in Ukraine, not yet. In Russia, right? The democracy right there at work, the will of the people. So they said, okay, let's recognize that. The chosen representatives of the electorate sent it to Putin. Putin, another elected representative of Russia, said, okay, we recognize them. Thank you very much. What do you want more than that? So much legality that, right? It's all about voting, democracy, and the right of self-determination, right? Remember Kosovo? Remember Crimea? Oh, you can put them together. Of course you can put them together because NATO, the defensive alliance, bombed a autonomous, how do you call it, independent, free, sovereign country, right? So that's why, and that's a defensive alliance, NATO, but it bombed illegally against the United Nations approval, right? Which did not come. So, okay, and then these guys, um, Donbass and Luhansk said the same thing. Oh, we want to get to Russia. There you have. What do you want? Democracy at work. All right, so then this is what it is with Mr. Assad. He will be always grateful to Russia and that because, and let's go back to this, since we are at it with Syria. This is how it's supposed to work in a a low abiding neighborhood, which is planet Earth, right? Global thing. If I'm a country and this country requests help because it has a civil war, which is an internal problem, not external, and I have a civil war and I request, let's say, my neighbor, hey, come and help me because my kids want to kick my butt, all right? And I'm the dad, I'm the one that has the mortgage on, I'm in charge here, right? Legally in charge. And the neighbor comes here and starts, helping me. But on the other side, someone else kicks the door in of my house and it's the other three neighbors. And they come to help those guys. Or start looting part of my house, things from my house. They take this beautiful globe, they get whatever I got valuable. And I'm like, me and my neighbor that I legally asked, those guys illegally entered my house. This is by international law. Well, those guys that entered are Great Britain, are United States, I think France has some, they just went in a sovereign, independent country. How is that? And Assad said, wait, I didn't invite you in. What are you going to do about it? That's how it was. That's how it was. All right? Unless you're invited, you have nothing to do over there. And then you got Yugoslavia. What happened to Yugoslavia? It was an internal problem, wasn't it? Oh, it was genocide. Okay. If it's genocide, let's figure out what we do with a NATO, Security Council, get an approval and go over there and help. Help, take care of stuff. But it wasn't like that because they didn't have the approval. But again, that's why it was illegal. Like Russians right now, they help these guys because there's genocide, according to the Russians, in eastern Ukraine. The Ukrainian government in Russians' brain, they are illegitimate because they come from illegitimacy that was produced in 2014 by overthrowing the legitimate democratically elected government. But you might say, wait a second, but these guys were elected as well. Well, and I explained that before. It's like a king. Let's say I'm a king, and then I have a bastard son, or like 10 bastard sons. According to the law, they cannot be kings because they're bastards, okay? That was the term used, okay? Illegitimate, that's the word, illegitimate. They cannot. But all of a sudden, one of the bastards comes and kills me, and he institutes his, kingship, kingdomship, whatever, monarchy. He crowns himself as being the king. He was illegitimate, and everybody has to listen to him because he's going to punch everybody. And then this guy, who got illegitimate, is going to have another king, his son, who's illegitimate, but through his illegitimacy. And then his son is going to have another son, another son, and another son. Well, those are the governments after that overthrow of the legitimate Ukrainian government. They were voted in the office, but they are the followers of this illegitimate break-in or overthrow of a government. And then they prepared stuff in a certain way that they created whatever. So that's why the Russians are not recognizing Zelensky and all these guys. Not because they were not elected, because they did what they did. And since 2014, they were not, if you remember, 2014, Donbass and Luhansk, they said, we are autonomous. We don't want to have anything to do. So when these guys were elected, were not elected by a big chunk of the Ukrainian population. So then that's why, on the other hand, they are illegitimate for the same reason, because they were not, those guys did not vote for them. So how can you, claim authority over me when I don't recognize you? I didn't vote for you. You sent tanks. So nevertheless, that's the situation over there. Syria recognized those two republics. What are they going to do about it? Bomb them? The Americans are still in Syria. Just so you know, if you forgot about that. And you know what, that could happen, right? Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, or be just. And be just. And on the other hand, maybe NATO will defend itself from Syria.